What's up, Magic Nerds? Today we are taking a look at building Aerith, Last Ancient from the new Final Fantasy set. She's a 4-drop human cleric druid with lifelink. She reads, at the beginning of your end step, if you gained life this turn, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If you gained 7 or more life this turn, return that card to the battlefield instead. This effect makes Lifegain actually quite powerful, as having an automatic reanimator effect is going to get out of hand for our opponents, as long as we can keep our commander on the battlefield. We have a two-pronged strategy here. We will be sacking creatures with sack effects and recurring them, and we will also be filling our graveyard with large creatures and returning them for free. We can go heavier into either one of these strategies. I'm just choosing to include both in my build, but feel free to take liberties with this deck idea. First off, we have our sack abilities. We have a plethora of options in white and green for these types of cards, and it gives us flexibility and resilience to continue using these effects throughout the game multiple times. Haywire Might, Kasali Pride Mage, and Cathar Commando are some great artifact and enchantment removal options to start out with. We also have plenty of cards that can give protection to our creatures. Cards like Safi Eriksdottir, Selfless Spirit, and Dauntless Escort are incredible here. To be able to continually give protection to our creatures is going to come in handy when we start slapping down the big boys as the game goes on. Be careful and calculated when showing your opponents how busted this combo can be. Let's absolutely include Dawntreader Elk, Sakura Tribe Elder, and Burnished Heart as recurable ramp. These effects are great on their own, so being able to repeat them multiple times is going to be a game changer for us. We should also include Bounty Agent. We can sack it to destroy target legendary artifact, creature, or enchantment. Being able to do that multiple times if we bring it back will be sick. Fanatical Devotion is an enchantment that lets us sack creatures to regenerate other creatures. This could come in handy once we have some beaters on the board that we want to stick around, and we can eventually bring back whatever we sacked with our commander. Flare of Fortitude and Flare of Cultivation also give us optionality to sack creatures in a pinch to ramp or give protection, and their casting cost isn't too prohibitive either, so we can certainly hardcast them as well. The next priority of the deck is to fill our graveyard with powerful creatures to return onto the board with our commander's effect. Fauna Shaman lets us discard a creature card to search for a creature to put into our hand. This is an extremely useful effect for us, especially if we are ready to gain 7 life in a turn. Given the right circumstances, we can set ourselves up for some busted plays with this card. The new Summon Titan Saga creature from Final Fantasy is an excellent choice in this deck for multiple reasons. It fills our graveyard by milling 5. We return all lands in our graveyard to the battlefield, and can then give another target creature +X and trample until end of turn, where X is the number of lands we control. Because it is a creature, we can recur it with our commander, making it synergistic. We have plenty of options like this in green, but one example is Malevolent Rumble. We reveal the top 4 cards of our library. We may put a permanent into our hand and put the rest into our graveyard, while also creating an Eldrazi spawn token for ramp. Let's include Bramble Familiar here, as the adventure sorcery mills us 7 and puts a creature, enchantment, or land from among them onto the battlefield. It's also a solid mana dork that can also discard cards for us if we are ready to proc our commander's effect. Hermit Druid is one of the most classic examples of a green mill effect. We reveal until we hit a basic land and put the rest into the graveyard. This will do wonders for filling our graveyard with nice targets for our commander. Next, we want to pack the deck with plenty of powerful creatures to return to the battlefield. It will be nice if most of these have synergy with Lifegain or graveyard interaction, but we can also just throw in good stuff here as well. There will definitely be some flexibility in how many of these you include, but having raw power in the deck without synergy in mind couldn't hurt. So Pandrel Hunger Dominus will be insane synergy with the creatures that have lifelink in our deck, making it that much easier to proc our commander's 7 life effect. Not only that, but its secondary ability that gives it indestructible requires us to sack creatures, which we are already prepared to do. Sun Titan is an excellent choice in this deck, as we will be running enough creatures and permanents in general that have low mana cost and filling our graveyard. Ghalta Stampede Tyrant is an insane 8-drop that will be good no matter how we get it onto the battlefield, and once we start swinging and getting even more creatures out for free, the momentum we gain may be impossible to stop without a board wipe. Angel of the Ruins is normally a quite prohibitive mana cost, but in this instance we can justify using the plane cycling ability, knowing we can return it to the battlefield for its removal effect. There are plenty more examples of high-power creatures to slot in here, and there is flexibility with how many of these you include. Lastly, we want to guarantee we gain life in a variety of ways, and ideally guarantee we can gain 7 or more life in a turn for the return to battlefield effect. Celestine the Living Saint has an amazing synergy with this deck, as she is essentially the mono-white version of this commander. At the beginning of our end step, we return target creature with mana value X or less from our graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of life we gained this turn. She's got flying and lifelink as well, so if we've got her and our commander out at the same time, it could lead to some very heavy momentum swings in our favor. We can start the Lifegain snowball with Essence Warden, Soul's Attendant, and Soul Warden. We will at least guarantee gaining a little bit of life to return cards to our hand from the battlefield, but these effects could also push us over the 7 life threshold as we get more life gain on the battlefield. We also have Guide of Souls, which gains us energy counters in addition, that we can later spend to put +1/+1 counters on creatures and give them flying. Serra Ascendant is one of the most OP cards you can play early game, and will almost always draw removal if an opponent has it. One swing with this creature, plus 1 more life from any other source, and we can return something to the battlefield. Rock's Faith Mender is a staple in any white life gain deck, and will make it much easier to hit our gain 7 life target. Let's also mention Heroes Reunion and Feed the Clan. These instants are normally not optimal in life gain strategies, as they don't do anything else. In our case, these will essentially act as a 2-mana resurrection, and depending on our target, will be incredible value. Cards that check if we've gained a certain amount of life this turn are also going to be good here. Resplendent Angel, the Gaffer, and Griffin Airy are good examples of this. Lethiel, the Bounteous Dawn, distributes +1/+1 counters, equal to the amount of life we've gained on each turn, which could snowball out of control quickly if not dealt with. Part of the beauty of this deck is the flexibility in the way you build it, and the life gain section is no exception. Anything that can gain us 4 or more life, in conjunction with our commander who has 3 power and lifelink, will proc the return to battlefield effect. Our secret star of the deck is Ajani, Strength of the Pride. He's a 4-drop mono-white planeswalker that can gain us life equal to the number of creatures and planeswalkers we control. He can create a Pridemate token that gets bigger whenever we gain life, and can exile himself along with each artifact and creature our opponents control if we have 15 or more life than our starting life total. If you made it this far in the video, type Ajani somewhere in your comment. What cards did I miss in this build? There are so many options. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, Magic Nerds, and I'll see you next week.